Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about antiseptics and disinfectants. Introduction. Anti-infective agents or germicides or biocides may be broadly classified as antiseptics and disinfectants. They are also used to kill or restrict the growth of microorganisms when applied to a living tissue or inanimate object. Antiseptic is a type of disinfectant which destroy or inhibit the growth of microorganisms on living tissues without causing injurious effect when applied to surface to the body or to exposed tissue. Some antiseptics are applied to the unbroken skin or mucous membrane, to burns and to open wounds to prevent sepsis by removing or excluding microbes from this area. Disinfectant. A disinfectant is a chemical agent which destroys or inhibits the growth of pathogenic microorganisms in the non-sporing or vegetative state. Disinfectants do not necessarily kill all microorganisms but reduce them to a level which does not harm health or the quality of perishable goods. Disinfectant is a chemical compound that prevents infection by the destruction of harmful microorganisms when applied to inert objects like bedding, floors, and etc. Now, here the ideal properties of antiseptics and disinfectants are: antiseptics and disinfectants should be chemical stability, it should economical, non-staining with acceptable color and odor, bactericidal, not only static and capable of destroying spores as well, wider spectrum of action. Here is the additional applications, additional properties of antiseptics are: antiseptic should be rapid in action and exert sustained lethal action. It should be non-irritating to tissues when applied. It should be non-allergic to the subject. It should no systemic toxicity, and it should be active in the presence of body fluids. The additional properties of disinfectants are: it should non-corrosive, it should be good penetrating agent, and it should be compatible with other organic compounds like soap. Now here the use of antiseptics and disinfectants are: antiseptics and disinfectants are used extensively in hospitals and other healthcare settings for a variety of topical and hard surface applications. In particular, they are an essential part of infection control practices and aid in the prevention of nosocomial infections. Mounting concerns over the potential for microbial contamination and infection risk in the food and general consumer markets have also led to increased use of antiseptics and disinfectants by the general public. A wide variety of active chemical agents are found in this product, many of which have been used for hundreds of years for antisepsis, disinfection and prevention. The widespread use of antiseptic and disinfectant products has prompted some speculation on the development of microbial resistance, in particular cross resistance to antibiotics. Now here the classification of antiseptics and disinfectants. Antiseptics and disinfectants are classified into inorganic substance and organic substance. Inorganic substances are also classified into the following categories like halogens, oxidizing agents, acid and alkalis, and fourth, metallic salts. The example of halogens are iodine, povidone iodine, Lugol solution, and chlorhexidine. The example of oxidizing agents are hydrogen peroxide and potassium permanganate. Examples of acid and alkalis are boric acid, salicylic acid, and the solution of ammonia. The last category, metallic salts. The example of these categories are silver nitrate, copper sulfate, zinc sulfate, and zinc oxide. Now we will discuss about organic substances. Organic substances are also classified into the following categories like aldehydes, alcohols, phenol derivatives, and dyes. Example of aldehydes are formaldehyde and glutaraldehyde. Example of alcohols are ethyl alcohol. Next, phenol derivatives. Example of this category is phenol, cresol, resorcinol, and thymol. And the examples of dyes are methylene blue and brilliant green. Now here we will discuss the mechanism of action of antiseptics and disinfectants. This can be envisaged as interaction of the antiseptic or disinfectant with the cell surface, followed by penetration into the cell and action at the target site. The nature and composition of the surface vary from one cell type to another, but can also alter as the result of changes in the environment. Interaction at the cell surface can produce a significant effect on viability, but most antimicrobial agents appear to be active intracellularly. The outermost layers of microbial cells can thus have a significant effect on their susceptibility or insusceptibility to antiseptics and disinfectants. It is disappointing how little is known about the passage of these antimicrobial agents into different types of microorganisms. Here is a brief summary of disinfectant and antiseptic. In this graphic, we take a look at some of the compounds used for antiseptic and disinfectant and where they are commonly used, and there is also look at how they all work. Now here we can see the alcohols, aldehydes, biguanides, bisphenol, diamides, halogen releasing, metal derivatives, peroxygens, phenolics, and quaternary ammonium salt. These all are the disinfectant and antiseptic. Now firstly we will discuss about alcohol. Alcohol are commonly found in hospital hand sanitizer. Ethanol and isopropyl alcohol are the two most commonly used compounds, usually in 60 to 90% solution. Ethanol, it is an effective antiseptic and can be used for a number of purposes in different concentrations. It acts by precipitating the bacterial protein. In suitable concentration, alcohols are effective against bacteria, fungi, and some type of virus. It's suspected that they work by denaturing proteins. Alcohols are effective against a range of microorganisms, particularly bacteria. However, they don't affect bacterial spores and some virus and don't penetrate organic protein material, so they are not particularly useful for sterilization. It is rarely used for disinfection as does not kill spores and may promote rusting. Alcohol is also used for preparation of large number of pharmaceutical preparations like spirits and tinctures. The second antiseptic and disinfectant compound is aldehyde. Glutaraldehyde is an important dialdehyde that has found uses as a disinfectant and sterilant, in particular for low temperature disinfection and sterilization of endoscopes and surgical equipment, and as a fixative in electron microscopy. Glutaraldehyde has a broad spectrum of activity against bacteria and their spores, fungi and virus, and a considerable amount of information is now available about the ways whereby these different organisms are inactivated. The next agent, halogen releasing. Halogens include iodine, chlorine, bromine and fluorine. Halogen releasing compounds are found in household bleach. Iodine can be used to help disinfectant the skin and prevent infections. Halogens are strong oxidizing agents and are effective against all microorganisms. It is a broad spectrum bactericide and a good fungicide with some virucidal action. It will kill spores and is an excellent disinfectant that is effective against protozoa. It is only slightly soluble in water. Iodine is available as a tincture dissolved in alcohol. bacterial spores. Next, phenol derivatives. The phenolic possess antifungal and antiviral properties. Phenol is used to disinfect surface in hospital and laboratory settings, and they are contributors to the characteristic hospital smell. Phenolic compounds have a broad spectrum of activity affecting bacteria, fungi, and some virus. They work by disrupting cell walls and membranes and reacting with proteins and enzymes. Phenol is used in dentistry as an analgesic for dressing of small wounds. In solutions with glycerol, it is used as an antiseptic and analgesic in mouth ulcers and tonsillitis. Cresol is many times active than phenol and is less damaging to the tissues. It is used for disinfection for utensils, excretory fluids, and for washing hands. And resorcinol is less potent than phenol but is keratolytic and antipyretic. It is used for the treatment of various skin disorders like ringworm, eczema, psoriasis, and dermatitis. Now here we will discuss the chemistry of proflavin. So here is the structure of proflavin and the IUPAC nomenclature of proflavin is acidine 3,6-diamine. Molecular formula. The molecular formula of proflavin is C13H11N3. The molecular weight of proflavin is 209.252 gram per mole. Now here the description of the uses of proflavin is: proflavin is an acrylamide derivative, a disinfectant bacteriostatic against many gram-positive bacteria. It has been used in the form of dihydrochloride and hemisulfate salt as a topical antiseptic and was formerly used as a urinary antiseptic. The mechanism of action of proflavin is: proflavin acts by interchelating DNA, thereby disrupting DNA synthesis and leading to high levels of mutation in the copied DNA strands. Thereby, it prevents bacterial reproduction. Now, the storage condition of proflavin is: it should be stored in well-closed containers. Now, next compound is chlorocresol. So, here is the structure of chlorocresol. IUPAC name is 4-chloro-M-cresol. Molecular formula C7H7ClO. Molecular weight 142.58 gram per mole. The uses of chlorocresol. Chlorocresol is a potent chlorinated phenolic disinfectant, antiseptic, and bactericide. It has bactericidal activity against gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria and is effective against fungi but has little activity against bacterial spores except at high level temperatures. It is more active in acid than in alkaline solution. Chlorocresol is used in the preparation for disinfection of the skin and wounds.
It is also used as a preservative in cosmetics and in creams and other preparations for external use that contain water. Storage at room temperature and away from moisture and heat, and it should be kept out of the reach of children. Thank you so much.